Ever since outgoing and lame duck POTUS Joe Biden gave Ukraine the green light to fire U.S.-made long-range missiles deep into Russia territory, a livid Vladimir Putin has ordered and bragged about his new nuclear-able missiles launched against Ukraine. And he has warned the United States and NATO alliance about the rehashed Russian nuclear doctrine, calling for the inclusion of the U.S. and Western nations siding with Ukraine as fair game for nuclear weapon strikes. VOA's Richard Marquina gleaned and wrote this report that Elizabeth Chernev narrates.
Russian President Vladimir Putin's announcement to the world in November that Russia had fired a nuclear-capable hypersonic missile at Ukraine raised further questions on why the escalation is happening, only weeks away from the transfer of power in Washington. General Sergei Karakayev, chief of Russia's strategic missile forces, emphasized the destructive capabilities of his new missile.
Based on the task set and the range of this weapon, it can reach targets across the entirety of Europe.
Putin said the Russian missile firing was a response to the outgoing Biden administration's permission for Ukraine to fire American-supplied missiles deep inside Russia. He said it was meant to show Russia can strike far into NATO territory if it wants to. Observers say the missile attacks are part of both Russia and Ukraine's strategy to show strength and arrive at negotiations on the strongest possible footing. The Kremlin accuses outgoing U.S. President Joe Biden of sabotaging President-elect Donald Trump's efforts to broker a quick end to the war, as Trump promised to do during his campaign. It is an accusation that Russia has made before.
Of course, in 2016, Trump's first weeks in the White House, in terms of his plans for a normal dialogue with the Russian Federation, were undermined to a large extent. I don't rule out that this desire to foul up the situation is what we're seeing now.
But some in Washington say Russia is not interested in stopping the war, with or without Donald Trump in the White House.
This war has already become the new normal for the Russian elite, who want it to continue because it generates economic growth. And if it stops, what will happen? Where will the people who are now in charge go?
In the meantime, a new poll by the Yuri Levada Analytical Center in Moscow suggests Russian public opinion appears to be shifting in favor of negotiations to end the war in Ukraine. Across Russia's border in Ukraine, a recent Gallup poll finds that an average of 52% of Ukrainians surveyed would like to see their country negotiate an end to the conflict as soon as possible. If these opinions hold, the field may be open for Trump to push through his plan and get both sides to negotiate a truce despite the current escalation. For Ricardo Marquina, Elizabeth Chernev, VOA News.